Well, hi, it's nice to talk to you. I
Thank
very
you.
much I enjoyed what we got of the season. We still have two more they haven't sent yet, but I enjoyed what I saw.
Nice.
So to start off, talk about, why did you want to be a part of this?
I think, it's funny whenever like we get auditions as actors, sometimes you can see that they are, brand new scripts, never been done before, and you sort of go, okay, I'll just, guess. And sometimes you get a really beautiful situation where you realize there is a massive world and legacy of the show that you're auditioning for, which can also be really daunting because it's got a fan base and it's got people that care about it and a team that already knows each other. And I think when I first started reading the scripts and getting involved with the project, I really saw that as a huge positive. It actually, it was the first time I'd ever done something that had had like a previous life, three movies and four seasons of a TV show. And it just meant that we had such a kind of encyclopedia of our show to sort of dip into, and we needed more context or information, or if we ever felt like we weren't sure if we were still the same show that the fans loved, we immediately could tell that we were, because at the very helm of it is Dean, and Dean has been there from the beginning, and he truly is our like encyclopedia of the librarians. For the first few episodes he was on set with us, and he would, if we ever had any questions or queries, he was the go-to. And it was amazing to have somebody so passionate and so knowledgeable about this, huge world that we were sort of just entering, with a guy that had been in it for a long old time.
Yeah. Speaking of that, did you go back and watch the originals at all?
Yes, we did. We didn't have enough time to watch all of them before we began. It was quite a short turnaround. But Dean definitely told us to go back and watch some pieces. And still to this day, we're on season two, and every now and again I'll watch an episode here or there, and it just always gets me how, I mean, our art department has done such a phenomenal job, but I'll watch a new episode and there will be an Easter egg from that episode somewhere in our annex that, when I first looked at it, I was like, oh, I wonder what that is. And then I'll see an episode and I'll go, oh my God, it's that. And I just think that the attention to detail, I hope, we want the fans that love the original show to sort of see all those Easter eggs and love it. So,
Yeah, there's quite a few.
mhm.
So, what was your prep like for this? Obviously, she has quite the science background, but what did you
Mhm.
kind of dig into for this?
Yeah, I think the science stuff, like playing smart characters, is always a tiny bit daunting because you really want to make sure, with the scientific terminology, it has to be like not the first time it has to sound like it's their ABCs. Do you know what I mean? The thing that rolls off the tongue. So there's a lot of looking a bit crazy in my apartment, repeating crazy scientific terminology. And honestly, like the scripts are such a little are so fun to research. Sometimes I'm not very good as an actor. I like understanding what I'm saying, which actually has meant I've learned so much from this show, because sometimes my character will be telling you how to, create something that mimics noise cancelling headphones to defeat a monster that, and I'm like, oh, I wonder if that's science. And I'll Google it, and it's always true. It's always correct. And I'm always blown away to the attention to detail. And Dean said at the fan screening the other night, like the fans of the show are so clever, and they are honorary librarians. And so I really wanted to make sure I, as a scientist, try to make myself understand as much as possible, so that when audience watch it, they sort of get to research it too, and it doesn't just sound like gobbledygook, if that makes sense.
No, that makes sense. So, did you have a hard time with the accent? Because I didn't realize you had changed your
My
accent
American,
so much.
yeah. Do you know, I absolutely love doing an American accent, but we have an amazing accent coach, and me, Blue, and Jess were all in the same boat. Jess obviously Australian, but Blue is British like me, and we are all very supportive of each other, and we're very like, we auditioned with the accent, so hopefully from the beginning it was sort of there. But yeah, it was a lot of work. I wanted it to be really perfect. And, also playing an American, it's the same as like someone who's very, very smart. The American accent can maybe be more like perfect and like tidy as an accent. So it was really fun sort of creating the accent to match the character.
Are you someone who stays in it the whole time you're working, or do you kind of go back and forth? No.
No, I will. I maybe one day, if it's an accent that maybe I didn't feel quite so confident with, I would stay in it maybe a bit more. But No, I've now, especially by season two, I feel almost terrifyingly confident that sometimes I will be speaking in an English accent up to the wire, and then someone will call action, and I'll be like, okay, so everyone, hi. I'm like, I'm so glad that came out right.
Do you have any, did you have anything with her, I guess, like what was the easiest and the hardest to connect with, like character wise? I know obviously I'm guessing you may not be a scientist, but other than that,
No, much to my parents' dismay, I'm not a scientist. But I think the thing that I was drawn to immediately and I knew was going to be so delightful to play was, we have a character who she's a scientist. Everything is very black and white for her. There's no gray area. Everything, she understands the way the world works. And then we meet her immediately having to deal with the fact that nothing she thought that was real or true is the case. And as soon as you get a character like that, you, as an actor, you just go, "Oh, that's going to be fun," because you have to meet everything with either so much curiosity or, in nicest case, refusal. And I think that's sort of and then you've got a character like Connor who is completely in
the
belief of all of
opposite?
it, and yeah, the polar opposite. And so that character relationship is super fun to play too, because you just have two people that sit on different sides of the coin, and how do they interact? And yeah, the writers did such a good job of sort of setting all four of us up with such a brilliant starting point that was great to play. And then, finding that sort of, Lysa gets a little bit less stubborn and starts to really realize, there are some things out there that science can't explain, but she does explain a lot of it. She tries, and she does a pretty good job. But yeah, so I think I really loved and connected with her sort of stubbornness. I thought that was quite fun. I think maybe it's alarmed me quite how much I'm like my character. In especially now we're in season two, I will sometimes be on set trying to. I'm like, but wait, this scientific, does that make sense if I? And people will be like, Liv, we're talking about magic doors, and I'm like, no, hear me out. And everyone's like, Liv, just say the line. I'm like, no, I'm gonna have to work this out, unfortunately. So I am, yes, I am sort of becoming a little bit like my character.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah.
You kind of touched on this, but talk a bit about working with the different cast members because you mostly have obviously scenes with the three of them.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's as actors, it's great fun to work with them because they are such great energy and super sort of happy to be there and passionate, and they already care. So firstly, that's a delight. But also as characters go, I mean, again, we Lisa's a scientist. She's not met people like this. Like Vikram is the most larger than life, out of this world sort of alien that she's just never met someone like that before. So getting to interact with him throughout the season, and even in season two, is super fun because I think Callum's choices are hilarious, and I have so much I get to play off. And obviously we've got Bluey, who Connor is just the opposite of Lysa. I love our bickering sort of relationship where they just are at each other a little bit, because I think, I mean, it's very fun to play, and me and Blue love playing it because it's a right giggle. But also, I feel, that's chemistry isn't actually just about characters getting on. It's about feeling comfortable to mock each other and to wind each other up. And deep down, they care for each other, but they care for each other enough to take the piss out of each other. And obviously, then my favorite is the day Jess for episode one did her reveal, where she takes off the helmet and shakes her hair out. I remember being like, Lysa's never seen a character like that. I don't even think I've seen as Liv a woman like Jess, and I was just like, phenomenal. And so I think everyone is so different, and we make up such a great. I don't know. I hope such a wonderful foursome, and I hope the audience like us and how we bounce off each other, and it really is great fun to play.
Do you have a favorite episode or artifact or something that you can talk about without spoiling too much?
Uh, I think it is his spoilers. We meet Cupid at one point, and I have to say I really liked meeting Cupid. I thought it was exactly what I wanted it to be and completely unexpected at the same time. And then there is an artifact, well, actually, maybe not an artifact. There's a character that we meet later down the line that when we heard was going to be joining, we all were really excited about that. But I won't spoil it.
I was gonna say then I have no clue even what you're talking about, even though I've
No.
seen it.
Yeah.
Is there anything, I guess, still that you kind of would really love to see happen with your character? I know obviously I haven't seen everything, but just something that if we're up to you, you'd like to see her get to do.
We actually got invited into the writers' room for season 2, and I remember thinking, what could I possibly suggest that these amazing writers haven't already thought of? And I'll be honest, the only thing I suggested was a curiosity. If they had to run through the magic door every single time they went through it, I wondered maybe the scientists might be able to fix it and make mean they walk. It wasn't met with with anybody saying yes passionately. But I still suggested it. I was like, because I heard from Christian that the reason that they run through the door and get thrown out the door is apparently when they were working out how to do it in season 1 of the original season, Rebecca, and this is what Christian said, that Rebecca suggested that it throws them out. Little did they know that they would then have to do that for the rest of the 4 seasons, and then we would have to
That you
do
get
that for
stuck.
the rest of our show, and we were all like, ah. So anyway, I suggested that. I don't think it stuck, and that's fine. We'll keep running through it forever.
Probably. All right, great. Well, thank you so much. We're out of time, but I appreciate it. I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to seeing more. It's a fun
Yeah.
show, right? A nice, lighthearted, fun show for the,
Oh, it's so
pretty happy.
lovely. It's great escapism. I still find it funny and joyful, and I think that's remarkable. I've seen too much.
All right. Well, have a good rest of your day.
And you, thank you.
Thanks so much. Thanks. Bye.